Batman issue 123, Joshua Williamson writing with Howard Porter on art. This is part 5 of Shadow War, although not really if you include the epilogue, or the prologue issue, and there's going to be an epilogue issue. A lot of stuff going on in this story. The main thing being the mystery of who this Deathstroke is, the one who killed Raz, who's the person behind the mask. This builds up the mystery of, there's like Batman and Damian interrogate some guy and about someone, like all these fake Deathstrokes from Deathstroke Inc. They got the costumes from a guy, he made a costume for someone else, a classic style Deathstroke costume. That's one of the main focuses of this. So it's, this is the story's chugging along. How did you feel about this?
It's very much just the next part of an issue, of a story.
Sure.
I'm still not digging Howard Porter's art on this as much as it feels so different to the rest of the event.
I don't know if he's. I probably said this last time, but the last time he did one of these, which was probably the last Batman issue. He doesn't feel best suited for this material, like for Batman.
No, I agree, and it's not that he's bad. I just think my bigger problem is he just doesn't fit with the other artists we have on the event, which tend to be kind of very clean. But this is really, really heavy lines, and it's a lot of heavy shading, and it's like, again, stylistically it is a choice, and that's fine, but it just doesn't mesh with the rest of the event, which is my biggest problem.
Yeah. I did get a chuckle out of Damian wanting to be the one to interrogate the guy, and Batman's like, and there's just a panel of Batman watching as you hear screaming effectively on the panel. And
I was very confused as to what actually happened here, because it cuts away and you just hear the screaming, and then the next panel is him going, "I didn't even touch you." I'm like, then why? It felt like a weird cut to me, like it was trying to hide violence, but then it felt like there was almost, okay, we can't do that. Let's go back in and write that there was nothing there.
I just took that as Damian claiming he didn't touch him, rather than the idea being like, I suppose you'd say I barely touched you rather than I didn't touch you, but I don't know. I mean, I kind of agree that it is a little bit like, what is he actually doing? Because there's no visible damage on him or anything like that. Like, how scary can Damian be coming towards him, kind of thing. But I did get a chuckle out of it. I guess my headcanon is that he just grabbed one of his nipples and twisted it as hard as he could, and that broke the guy down immediately. That's my
Sure.
I don't know, maybe he pulled out some sort of fancy bat blade or something, and the guy just went, "Oh no, F that,"
and then put it away by the next panel.
Yeah. That's all I got for you.
All right.
That's all I got for you. There's a lot of trying to convince us that Ghostmaker's cool. Here.
Oh, they're really banging that drum, aren't they?
They really are. So it's the one thing about this issue, which is probably why this one is maybe my least favorite of the crossover, maybe so far. Is just because I really liked the last couple issues by and large, because it was advancing Batman and Damian sort of like making some kind of amends, working on the case together. Liked Rose with her father, Rose with Damian, all that stuff. I really enjoyed the build up of that stuff. Batman Inc. with Ghostmaker. It's whatever. So Slade and the kids go back to the scene of the crime, which the kids question if that's maybe the wisest move, given that everyone's looking for him. But he's like, nope, I might see something that the bat missed, so we're going to look into it. And lo and behold, by the end, they get into trouble.
Ninjas with guns.
Ninjas with guns. What's the character? Hood shows up.
Yep.
And they get into a big scuffle, big fight. They're barely surviving, kind of thing. But the big dramatic punchline is that, of course, Respawn jumps in and takes a lot of gunshots. And the big cliffhanger is that he seems to be dead. Like, Slade's holding him, and he says, "Not again." And there's rain pouring down. You can see Rose in the background, like the lightning striking behind her. It's all very dramatic. I will say it's probably the best part of the art in the book is this last page, because it is like, it's almost like Porter's like roughness works with the rain.
It does.
For the drama.
I like the most of it. I think it was a weird choice to have the bottom kind of panel there, where it has the extra close up on his face with the not again. I think that combined with all the like the next time text kind of takes away from the impact of the moment a little bit, I think, for me.
I think it's a wise idea to have not again, again, on its own. But maybe what would have been more effective was just a plain black box at the bottom with just the text in the middle saying not again, almost as if like, you know, the world fades away and it's just the words not again. Because I think the not again part really is what makes it stick to me. Is that particular phrase? But
I think it'd probably be fine if it didn't have all the extra, editorial text at the end, which I suppose it'll be removed in the trade. So I guess it's not a real long-term issue, but it's a problem here reading it now for me. Kind of took away from the moment.
Batman and Damien go to find this costume maker, and they find him dead. Or sorry, they find him heavily tranked. Sorry, not dead. Forgive me.
Do you not recognize the costume maker? Do you not recognize the name?
What was his name? I can't remember. Oh, Gamby. Oh yeah, of course, yeah, Gamby. Yeah. Black Lantern's dude.
That's the one.
Yeah. But the fake Deathstroke's there, in his costume. And, some interesting clues here. He says, and if you're as smart as I remember you are, you'll stay out of this. Let me walk so I could finally do what you couldn't. Obviously, there's a lot of speculation in this issue that clearly whoever's behind this wanted Talia and Slade to go to war. He wanted that spark to be lit. And, so I know Matt's got a theory from his comments from a brief skim of what he said, but so yeah, it was a decent issue. Like, I like the tease of who the Deathstroke is. I like the idea that Deathstroke is already pissed because someone's trying to frame him, but then you have this, like he's had this second chance to be a good father, or not even a third or fourth chance at this point to be a father again, and he's failed. The kid's dying in his arms because he wanted to protect Deathstroke, and it kind of feels like now it's Deathstroke's turn to go hunting. Like, if that's what it says, Fury of Deathstroke's what it says at the next time on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I thought a weird choice there as well. It says to be continued in Deathstroke issue 9. Is it not still called Deathstroke Inc? Is that a typo on their part, or have they renamed the book without me noticing?
No, I mean it was Deathstroke Inc. last issue, so unless it changes next issue,
which is possible. They do this sometimes.
I mean, I didn't even noticed that, but yeah, I would imagine it's a tiny little mistake.
Yeah.
For this little bit of text.
Ultimately, it's not a big deal. Anyone looking for Deathstroke issue 9 is going to find Deathstroke Inc. issue 9, I would hope. Especially if you've been reading the other parts of this story already. But it was just a weird oversight.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So yeah, perfectly solid enough, but nothing special middle chapter. But some of the plot beats that they're playing with, I do quite like. So
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Backup, which I did read because I read the first half, even though
I forgot there was a backup until I got to the end and I turned the page and I was like, oh, there's more.
Well, this is the thing. The backup in the last issue, I read because it looked interesting based on the names and stuff, and it was a nice, interesting little plot about how Deathstroke was hired to kill Robin, and it was an interesting little story that might have thematically tied into what's going on in the crossover, and at the end it ruined it all by like Deathstroke having Joker laughing, face.
Yeah.
So this second half, I'll read it just to finish it to see how it wraps up. And yeah, like it's the frustrating thing is that I am still perfectly fine for a good Joker story, and if you tell me there's a Joker story coming, that's cool. But I think because there is so much overexposure to him, I don't think ending any Batman story with a cliffhanger that says, "Oh, the Joker's secretly the one that was behind this," is going to work again for a long time. At least for me, like. It's not surprising. It's like, well, yeah, like Joker's behind a lot of things. Like, if you're going to tell me there's a Joker story coming, I will enjoy it on the merit of it being a good, possibly good Joker story. But when you give me something else that seems unique for its own reasons, and then go, but the Joker's the one behind this,
and this devolves just into Slade versus Joker, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, in about 5 or 6 pages.
Yeah. Slade goes to get him. He still kind of got some control, even though he's smiling the whole time. It turns out that it doesn't kill Slade like it does other people because of his healing factor and so on. So yeah, that's basically it. And then Slade tells Wintergreen at the end when he wakes up from his like Joker hangover that they should never talk about this again because he's embarrassed that he failed a contract, and that's it.
Yeah, this was
It's the whole thing.
pointless.
Sadly, yes. I actually really liked most of that first half. It was just the ending that ruined it.
I did as well, and then this was pretty much exactly what we were worried it was going to be. Just look, Joker stuff.
Yeah, it just took everything that I liked about it away and just replaced it with something else. So
yeah,
there's not really much to add. All right, what are you rating the main story?
I'll just give it a 7. It's solid.
Yeah, I think so. 7's exactly what I was thinking. Backup.
It's like a 5. It's not terrible. I'm disappointed in what it is, and it's not that good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 5 I think sounds fair as well. It's not like I say it wasn't terrible. There was like the odd little line. It was like, that's a fine little line. Like, you know, when Joker sees he's still alive when it should kill him, he's like, what secret sauce have you got? I could have some of that. You know, he says something to that effect. And I'm like, okay, it feels like a natural enough Joker thing to say. But Matt's thoughts on Batman before we move on, though. I like how Williamson has made each issue of the crossover feel like an issue of the book and not just a miniseries. I feel like this fake Deathstroke is Grant. Lots about family and all that. Being half an Al Ghul and Slade, I feel like Respawn's healing factor is going to be in overdrive. That's true. Maybe the kid will bounce back to life next issue. That's entirely possible.
Maybe.
But Porter doesn't fit a Bat book at all. Hey, I said that. 7.5 out of 10 he gave it. So
slightly more than us.
Yeah, higher rating. Oh, that's like Matt, isn't it?
Yeah, half a point above us. Yeah, that's about right.